Hello everyone, in this video I'll be explaining the problem make a positive, add to make positive. So it was asked in Codechef contest starter 217. Let's read out the problem. An array A of length n is good if the sum of all its element is non-negative, that is a1 plus a2 up till an. I think it's one based indexing. So if the sum is greater than or equals to 0, so the array is said to be good. Okay, find the minimum non-negative integer x such that if you add x to each element of the array, okay, the array becomes good. That is, uh, an array b of length n defined as b of I is equal to a of I plus x is good. So yeah, we need to find the value of integer x. Okay, so we have input for in which we have test cases, and in each test case we have in the first line we have integer n denoting the size of the array, and then in the second line we have n integers. Yeah, let's see the test cases. We have 4 test cases. In the first test case we have 1 5 minus 3. So let's go to the board. So we have 1 5 minus 3. So this is the array. Before that, let me tell you the problem statement. So they have given an array A of length n. Okay, it is one based indexing, and sorry, you can think of array as a1, a2, a3 up to so on an. Okay, so here the array element is denoted as ai, and this I is ranging from 1 to n. Okay, 1 to n means one based indexing. You can take small n also, it is not the issue. So array is said to be good. Okay, this array is said to be good only if the sum of this a1 plus a2 up till an, if it is greater than or equals to 0, it is non-negative. Okay, it should be non-negative. Non-negative means greater than or equals to 0. Okay, so what they're asking is, they have given this array. Now it may happen that in this case, as you can see, if you try to sum it up, its value is going to be minus 8 plus 1, which is minus 7, right? So it is not a good array. You will have to make a good array. So for that, what you will have to do is, you will have to choose an array B, wherein first you will have to choose a value of integer x, right? So if you try to add this x to each element, all the elements you will have to add it. So that array B, what you are saying is, I mean, how can we define it? It is defined as a of I plus x. First one is a1 plus x. Second element will be a2 plus x. Third element will be a3 plus x. Up to so on, last element will be n plus x. So this is the array B. So you will have to basically find this integer x, and this should be minimum. It should be minimum in such a way that the array A becomes good. Okay, so how do we solve this problem? The first thing what you can think of is you'll have to choose some x is equal to random value. Let's say here we choose x is equal to 3. If you choose x is equal to 3, then your array B will be add to each element you just add 3. Here it is 4, here it is minus 2, and here it is 0. Okay, it is correct, right? Like 3 if you're adding, so it is 4, it is minus 2 and 0. And now if you try to take sum of these elements, it is 2, which is greater than or equals to 0. So it is a good array. So here 3 is the answer. So how do you find like 3 is the answer? So let me directly go to the solution. So one thing you'll have to observe is that whatever value you're adding, right, x value whatever is there, so that value will be added to everyone, right? So first what we'll do is, we'll try to find the sum of the array. We'll try to find the sum of the array. When you find sum of the array, it is like minus 7. Now what you do is, since you want minimum x, so start x with 0. Okay, and what you do is, since sum is negative, you'll have to make greater than equals to 0 sum. Okay, sum you'll have to make greater than equals to 0. So now you try to increase x by 1, which means if you increase x by 1, which means 1 is added to each element. It's like 1 is added to each element. So how many elements are there? 3 elements are there. So you will be adding 3 to the answer. Your sum is going to be minus 7 plus 3, it is going to be minus 4, and your x value is 1, which means this is the minimum value, but still your sum is negative. So again what you can do is, you can add one more value, I mean one more 1 to each element. So when you do that, your sum is going to be, since there are 3 elements, so it is going to be minus 4 plus n. N is basically size of the array. Size of the array is not 5, it is 3. Okay, so minus 4 plus 3, if you do, so minus 1 you have, but your x value is still 2. Okay, this is the minimum value, you have got it. But if you see sum, it is negative, it is not non-negative, right? So again what you do is, again same thing you do, try to make x increase by 1, which means one more element we are adding to each element. So when you do that, minus 1 and 3 ones you are adding, right? So it's like uh, minus 1 plus 3, it is going to be 2, and your x is right now 3. Now your sum is greater than or equals to 0, and whatever is the minimum x value, right? So this is your answer. So in this way you can easily solve this problem. So I think you have understood. um, so what would be the pseudocode? First find the sum. Okay, find the sum of the array. Once you find sum of the array, take one loop. Okay, take loop until sum is negative. Even if sum is 0, so in that case it falls under non-negative, so uh, that is a valid. So until sum is negative, take loop and add uh, you know n to the sum. Why n? Because length of the array, and when you are adding n, you initialize x with 0 and increase x by 1, right? If you do this, you will get the minimum value of x. At the end, you'll have to print x. I think you guys have understood. My chair is broken. Um, so yeah, let's try to code it up. Add positive. So let's see the inputs. We have test cases. So test cases, I have taken care of this position. For every test case, I am calling function solve. And yeah, for every test case, we have integer and denoting size of the array, and then we have array elements. So we have taken the array elements. Now the first thing is, x will have to find, initialize with 0, and take one more variable, sum is 0. Whenever you are taking the array elements, try to put it in your sum. Even if you don't take array, it is fine. So let me first take it, then I'll try to So what you'll have to do is, while your sum is less than 0, so in that case what you are trying to do is, you are just increasing x by 1, which means x value you have increased by 1, and now equals to, okay. When you come out of the loop, and as you can see, we don't have use of vector, so we can remove this vector. just to make space complexity as constant. Here if I take val, I'll initialize with full val. Submitting online editing. Yeah, it got accepted. So I think you guys have understood like how do we solve this problem. Basically, we had to find a minimum non-negative integer x. So since it was minimum, that's why we started x is 0, and we took the sum of the entire array element. If it is already non-negative, so we don't have to take any x value. So if it is negative, then we'll have to take it. So that is taken care by this while loop. So yeah, thank you guys for watching the video.